Welcome to Indian Indian News. Our guests today are authors Chitrapu and Nirmala Garimella. They have just published the first edition of a book called Absolute Andhra. We are going to talk to them about how this book was produced. And it covers so many aspects of chutney and pickles, etc. from Andhra Pradesh. And they have worked more than 3 years during the COVID to produce this book. But before that, I just want to quickly introduce Chitrapu. In addition to being a writer, she is also a senior executive at Bank of America and former president of Thai Boston and is involved with a number of charities. Nirmala is a co-founder of a news portal called Lokbani, and she is also involved with Circle of Hope and a number of other charitable organizations. So, Anu, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Nirmala, again, welcome here.
Thank you,
it's nice to see you. And it's very exciting to see that how both of you have taken just one aspect of, the pickles and spices and chutneys from Andhra and come up with this book. And this was done as, I remember from during the COVID time.
Yep. Yes.
So, before we get into how the book was produced and written, first give us a quick overview about what this book contains.
Yeah, sure, I can do that.
Yeah.
So Andhra Pradesh is known for its red hot spicy food, and the pickles, avkai, is very famous. We also have something called podis, which are lentil powders, also spicy. You can see the theme here. Spice seems to be a theme here. And just about anything you can think of, any vegetable, any lentil, any grain can be made into a chutney, which we call pachadi. There are other foods also in Andhra, but the pickles, these podis and these pachadis are something very unique only to Andhra Pradesh. So we decided to focus just on that. So this book is all many recipes on podis, pickles and pachadis.
Now, off the camera, you were talking about that anything from the garden can be picked up. And so just explain that very briefly.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having us. So, you're you love your garden and I can understand that. So anything that grows in the garden, right, above and below the soil can be actually transformed into some delicious, either a pachadi or a puri or a curry in Andhra. We try to use everything that is there, whether it's the leaves of the carrot or the beetroot makes into a chutney, the carrot itself can make into a curry, and, even the skin of if you peel off the beetroot skin and everything can be transformed into a chutney. So we make sure that everything that can be used will be used and in a delicious manner.
Excellent. Well, we have a lot of readers of the newspaper, Indian News, and viewers from Andhra, but this book is not just only for them, for anybody
right.
who is interested in, South Indian chutneys and all. And we have tried it in many restaurants, but we North Indians may not be very familiar with what they are. So let us start. How did you come up with this idea? How the book started, and how did you test and cook all the chutneys and pickles here in Boston?
Yeah. Okay, sure. So Nirmala, why don't you start with the inspiration?
Yeah, so the inspiration is actually, if you look at the book, Upendra, we have dedicated this book to our mothers. Anu's moms, Satyavathi Garu, and my mom, Subbalakshmi Garu. So, and, we both lost our mothers very close to, the years that, in 2016, I think. So, and we have learned so much from our mothers. They were amazing, incredible cooks, and they were very much rooted in the authenticity of the Andhra cuisine, and whether it's all the things that we have portrayed in this book. So when they passed away, we were actually one day, I think I was in Anu's house and we were cooking a tomato chutney, and both of us came up with this amazing chutney and we looked at each other and we said, oh, wow, this is amazing. Like, can we just expand this repertoire, and get all the other chutneys in? And then we remembered our mothers, and during this time, and we said, this is it, this is what we should do, just as a dedication to them and to all mothers, who have really taught their children, how to cook. But the only difference being that they would cook without the measurements, right? There was no documentation at the time. So, we would learn from our mothers, watching them, observing them in the kitchen, making notes and all that. But this time we thought maybe we should just,
And how many recipes this book has?
It has over 100 recipes.
Okay.
And like I said, it's divided into 3 sections with podis, pickles, and pachadis. And I'll tell you, one of the things that both of us felt was our moms were always trying to tell us, oh, make it this way, add this, add that. But I for sure, and I'm sure Nirmala also, we never listened to them. We were like, we'll talk about it later.
Kids, right?
Yeah, not interested at all, right? And then we came to the US, and then all of a sudden it was like, wow, I want to eat that. How do I get it? And when we came here in the 90s, it was not so easy to get the pickles, etc.,
Sure.
Either here or even from India, right? So we really started missing it. That's when we started getting interested. And now we realized, we also did a search on Google, by the way, to see if there's anything specific. I mean, while on the internet you can find many recipes, there was no curated compilation of all of these in one place.
And this book looks very nice because it seems like the coffee table book. Which
Yes,
is very
that was the
nicely
idea.
done and very well produced with all these pictures and artwork and everything. So can we talk about the photographic part and the art part of this?
Yeah, for photography, I mean, I think we may be biased, but the pictures are absolutely amazing. They were all taken by Prabodh Shankara, who is a good friend of ours. And he is into photography. And, he also totally got into this, composing the picture and how best can we show the ingredients, etc. So that is one thing that you will find in this book, which is not there in many of the books. And don't take great photos.
Yeah. And the other thing that we did, and I think this is during COVID, right? We were not allowed to enter people's homes, but we would cook all these chutneys and podis, and we would drive all the way to his house, or he would come over, he would pick them up from the doorstep, take it home, in his studio and set it up. I would put all the props around it and take the photograph, So it was quite
so
an
this
experience.
is literally a COVID baby, right?
Yeah,
This
it
book,
is.
right?
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah. Definitely. And Upendra, I want to add another very unique feature in this book is during COVID, a lot of people were out of work, as you know. So the artists who, create paintings or art for books, they also were out of work. So we got in touch with some of them who are in Chennai, in the artist village. And we said we want to encourage them also. So you will notice in the book, all the section separators, is original art.
Yeah, actually, I
by
saw
these
one
artists.
in the center fold.
Oh,
Here,
yes,
that
is
is,
right.
yes.
This one I do want to talk about. This is by Padma Shri Totatarini, who is very well known for art in movies. And he is also from Andhra. He lives in Chennai. So when I told him the concept of this book, he was really excited because apparently he loves chutneys and podis and pickles.
Who doesn't love chutney?
Yeah. He even said something like in the olden days when he used to go for shooting, this famous actress Savitri, apparently she would tell Tota Tarini, bring for lunchtime this particular podi and this pickle.
Okay.
So he would take it from his home. So he did that original artwork for us, and it's an illustration of a typical courtyard in an old Andhra home where pickles are drying and all the kitchen utensils.
Yeah. So now my question is that, as you said, that it has more than 100 recipes here.
Yeah.
And all of them have been tried, tested here in Boston, either in your home or your home. Right?
Absolutely. And, and it's not, so we have sourced a lot of these recipes from people from all over the world, I mean, globally, I would think Australia, India, other places. Yeah. And the idea is, we have our recipes from our mothers, which we wanted to sort of, commemorate in this book. But we also had recipes from people in Boston, like a lot of grandmothers or mothers, who also have a lot of things to share. So we've compiled, and it's a lot of contributions from everybody else, and it's a tribute really to all, all who love pickles and podis and, chutneys. So we wanted to make it.
So I know, I don't want to be biased, but you tell me 2 of your favorite recipes in this book. I'll have the same question.
Okay, yes. I think, and I think we've noticed it, that we started with the tomato chutney. So that remains an all-time favorite. It's a favorite in my family. Even, everybody who wants to take that pickle. And the other one, I think, is, actually a very old traditional recipe, which many people don't do it now. It's a stuffed mango,
Mhm.
and it's a pickle. And I've eaten it through the years.
But how can you make a stuffed mango?
So that's the thing.
Okay.
So that's the thing. It's an entire mango cut, and the stuffing is inside the mango, and it's then dried in the sun and made it. So that is a very unique Andhra style of pickle, which I have eaten over the years, and it still remains my favorite. I just crave that taste of that stuff.
Your favorite recipes from the book?
My favorite is a chutney called Kandi Pachadi. It's basically tuvar dal made into a chutney. And, we all know tuvar dal is very healthy for us. Some kids don't like to eat the dal and rice, but just put this in hot rice with ghee and give it to them. I guarantee you anybody will love it. So that is my all-time favorite.
With a little raw onion on the side.
Yeah.
So now again, Nirmala, you have lived in North India.
Yeah.
You have lived in Bengal. And so did you find anything common between the chutneys from North India and Andhra, or they are totally different paths?
I would say like the Perugu Pachadis, which is all yogurt-based pachadis. There is, that raita component in the north, and some of the chutneys, except the spices on top, are different. But I think the base is probably similar. Those are the ones that I think might be similar, right?
Yeah, the one thing that I find similar between Bengali cooking and Andhra cooking is the use of mustard.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some dishes in Andhra where you actually make the spice with mustard.
Okay.
And when you eat it, right, you get this really strong, pungent mustard taste, which I love. That's the common.
Okay. Yeah. So now if you can, any one of you can talk about the process, when, timeline way. When did you start this coming with ideas, tasting food, and how long it took to produce the book?
That it's a fairly long time.
Okay.
I think this book has taught us a lot of things.
Yeah.
About, COVID has taught us resilience, right? It's taught us that, the world can change anytime, things can happen. And everything you have to accept with a certain amount of, resilience. So I think with this book, it has been a 2 or 3 year project.
2.5 years,
project. And the reason, of course, partly is, of course, we were there was a lot of challenges cooking outside. We were not entering our homes, and we had to cook in our backyard. That was one. And then, of course, trying to work, because this book was produced in India, we had to work with the people in India over a period of time. And then, just compiling recipes, trying and testing them all the time, because every recipe has been tried at least 2 or 3 times, because sometimes the taste would not come the way we wanted.
Okay.
And we make sure, because these are things which we are doing with measurements for the first time, right? It's not like andaz, like you just drop something and say, okay, this has come up. So we were taking all our measuring spoons, making sure everything is good.
So,
and about the measurement, Upendra, I want to add, most cookbooks that you see will not tell you how much salt to add, right? They say salt to taste, because that is a tasting. But in things like pickles and pachadis, the salt is like a very key ingredient. It's not a side thing you put.
Yes.
Like salt can bring out a flavor, it can suppress a flavor, etc. So we measured the salt also. We even measured the water. So for instance, if you make a chutney too watery, it doesn't taste good. You make it too thick, it doesn't taste good. So to get that, we even measured the water. And I think that I have not seen in any other.
Because the texture is very important.
What about at least in North Indian chutney, we make sometime, we also put few grains of sugar as well. Do you?
Yeah, there are some in which we put.
Yeah, I
like
think
the
more
ginger.
than sugar would be the
Jaggery.
Jaggery, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jaggery is more prevalent than sugar.
Okay. So now coming back again to the production of the book, how challenging was to come up with this one getting done in India?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was pretty challenging for 2 reasons. One, this is the first time we are doing a book, right? So what we did not recognize as a challenge at the start is what you see on the screen is not what gets printed, right?
Sure.
There is a lot of technical differences between online media and print media.
Yeah.
So as a result, we kept focusing online and said, okay, once it's like perfect online, we'll give it for printing and that's what you'll see. But then luckily we had a very good advisor, a very close friend of mine, Mala, who told me, she said, you are going to see a lot of differences. So don't print everything, print only one and let's check it.
Okay.
So we printed one, and then when we looked at it, we were like, oh no, the photos like don't
Totally
look
different.
at all. Yeah.
Sure.
And they look grainy, they don't, even though they were all high resolution. So then we went back, and then we literally had to redo a lot of the photos. And so we had to hire a new person in India, because the old designer was like, no, I am done, I have to move on to another project. So then we had to get a new person. So that part was very challenging. But I keep telling Nirmala, the next book, we know exactly
How
to
to
do.
do it.
Yeah, so I want to talk about that as well. Yeah, that's the big experience. So I think when I was talking to you before this, the interview, you had mentioned that your idea is to take this concept to go to different parts of India.
Yeah.
Is that still in works or?
Yeah, we definitely
We
want to
do.
do that.
Yeah.
And both Nirmala and I, right, we grew up in different parts of India, so we do have affinity to different parts. For instance, I am from Chennai, and there's a whole different cooking thing in Chennai or Tamil Nadu, right? So there is like Chettinadu cooking, there is just the traditional Tamil Nadu cooking, sambars of different types.
Different.
Yeah, so we definitely want to expand to others.
And now we have experience of
Yeah.
producing a book.
Yeah.
I think the biggest value for this is, especially here, like for example, our children and, others, many people have, we grew up in homes where we are cooking this food and our children are eating it. But today's world, the youth are not like learning how to cook these foods. So especially somebody like my daughter said, if you don't document this is going to be lost. So we are trying to keep these recipes as a treasure for the future generations. Whoever is interested in Andhra cooking or who wants to know more about, how to cook this food, they have a book ready to go.
Excellent. Now, if somebody wants to get a copy of this book.
Yeah. So two ways. One is just contact us.
Okay.
Both of us will give you the email addresses also.
Okay.
We have also planned a series of book launches. And the reason we are doing multiple is so that we can do it in different areas.
Sure.
So, we hope, Upendra, you'll publish our launch series and people can come to whichever is nearest to them.
Okay.
We will also have food tasting during the launch.
Okay.
So they can buy the book and they can also taste the
Some of the
different-
chutneys.
Very important, right?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, you come, you read the book, you want to at least
Yeah,
sample.
Yeah, you want to know
A
what.
little
So when do you
sampler.
want to do this? Do you have a timeline to roll out?
We do. The first one is planned for June 25th.
Okay.
And location is not confirmed yet, but we're most probably doing it in Littleton
Okay.
to start with.
Okay.
And then in July, we will do one at one of our homes.
Okay.
And then we'll wait for fall when people come back from vacation and we'll do it.
Okay. Now, meanwhile, is there any information about this book on the website or anywhere people can access this?
Yeah. So I do have a website for something, and it's called Nyrvaana.com, Nyrvaana.com. And there I have put a section for.
Okay. So the people who wants to buy the book, they can contact you
yeah.
and all this stuff.
Definitely.
And we'll do an accompanying article with this interview. And there we can provide
We will give you
contact
Absolutely.
information.
Yeah.
It makes a great gift, for future generations.
No, I mean, and the quality is very good. I'm very impressed, and it's
Yeah,
a good,
thank
nice
you.
coffee table book as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We decided that we want to produce it in the highest quality possible because there are different grades. If you want, you can publish. You don't need this glossy cover.
Sure,
you don't need a hard cover. It's cheaper to have a soft cover. All of this, but. Both Nirmala and I felt like, this is the tribute to our moms. And we've curated recipes from so many people. One side effect of this whole thing, a side benefit which we didn't realize, we got in touch with a lot of our relatives in India who we haven't been in touch with for a long time.
Sure.
So you'll find recipes there from many of our relatives.
So now another question I have is that, of course, in India, during our generation, moms were the key figure in the family for the cooking. Any role played by your fathers in this book or anything?
No, we both have lost our fathers too,
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but they were always, my dad used to cook at home, at the time. So I would just mention that he was always appreciative of my mom's cooking, and he himself was a good cook, but cooking runs in my family, we are all like, big on cooking. So let's put it that way.
Excellent. So now your last word on the book.
My last word on the book. I would say definitely buy the book and keep it on your coffee table. Even if you don't take the recipe and actually cook, I will say that it's a conversation starter and you'll have the best conversations in your home.
Yes.
Your last word. I want you to look right in the camera.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful book, and it's a tribute to all mothers, so we all love our mothers, so just go and buy the book.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
and
you,
really
Pedro.
enjoyed this
Really
and looking
appreciate
forward to
Great.
trying this chutney at your lunch event.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having
Excellent.
us.
Yes. Thank you so much.